You just have to decide that you're worth it. You just have to decide it's the time to do it. And you just need that support and that encouragement to not give up, to understand that what you're going through is completely normal and that the problems that you're facing are completely solvable. Welcome to the Biking Wellness Podcast. I'm your host, Stacy Smith, and I lost 50 pounds riding my bike by focusing on what my body can do. Now, I teach other women how to do the same. I am obsessed with completely flipping the script on weight loss so that we can work out to feel good and feel strong. If you are ready to stop dieting, learn how to appreciate your body, and have fun riding your bike, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. Hello there, my friend. Welcome back to the podcast. And if you're just joining us for the very first time, welcome to the Biking Wellness community. I am so thrilled that you found us, and I am so grateful that you chose to listen and to be here with us this week. So before we dive in, I just wanted to mention that if you are listening in real time when this podcast comes out, which is in July of 2025, and coaching sounds like something that you might be interested in and that you might want to explore, I'm actually opening up 10 spots for individual coaching this summer. Some of them are already accounted for, but if you are at all interested in working with me one-on-one, I would love for you to reach out. You can send me an email at stacy@sassy.com. That's Stacy at SASCY.com, or DM me on Instagram at Sassy Cycling. That's SASCY Cycling with the word interested. All you have to do is just let me know you're interested, and I will make sure that you get on the wait list. No pressure, no commitment, nothing like that. I just want to make sure that if you are interested, and we do still have spots, that you get your shot. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about how to know that it's time to hire a coach and how to find the right coach for you. If you're anything like me, you have those things where you are self-motivated to do and you don't have any problem doing them. And then you have those types of things, like maybe it's biking, maybe it's weight loss, maybe it's strength training, that you just need a little extra help with. You need a little bit of extra assistance, and you might be looking at working with a coach. So what even is coaching, and what are some of the different ways to work with a coach? Well, first of all, I think that we're all familiar with the sports coaches, right? You know, we're familiar with the managers of teams and coaches of teams. We've probably all had a coach at some point in time in our lives. Maybe we played, in my case, it was softball and basketball growing up. And I had some great coaches. I actually remember some of the fantastic coaches that I had all of those years ago. And the whole point of a coach is to guide you, to offer guidance, to help you develop your skills, and help you, in many instances, actually meet a particular goal, getting that support, getting that strategy. And there are a number of different ways to actually work with a coach. So a great coach doesn't just kind of say like, okay, here you go, do this. A great coach is going to kind of offer you guidance, is going to offer you support, is going to fundamentally help you develop the skills that you need in order to achieve and accomplish your goals. And depending on what your needs are, that's going to kind of dictate the type of coach or the type of coaching program that you're looking for. So, for example, I offer 2 ways currently to work with me. One is through a coaching program called the Lose Weight Biking Program, and that is a group program. Now, group coaching and group programs are great if you have a pretty decent amount of self-motivation and you're the kind of person who wants to jump into a program, who wants to work the program from start to finish, and it's something that you really kind of are interested in and enjoy doing, and you want to just learn more about, and you just need a little bit of information and maybe some community support. And that's what the Lose Weight Biking Program is all about. And I'll be sure to put a link to the Lose Weight Biking Program in the show notes so you can learn a little bit more about it. But the idea is that you have a series of lessons in the Lose Weight Biking program. And then there's also a Facebook community that is open just to members of the Lose Weight Biking program. Now, this is not to be confused with the biking wellness community, which is open to every single member of this community. It is totally free. You don't have to pay me a single dime to get into the biking wellness community Facebook group. So this is separate from that. This is for those people who join the Lose Weight Biking program and want to move forward with their goals with a little bit more guidance. So that's kind of what group coaching is. You're working in a group with other people. You have a common goal. It's almost similar to almost being on a sports team in terms of you're all trying to win the championship. And in Lose Weight Biking, we're all trying to lose weight riding our bikes, super straightforward like that. But sometimes we need a little bit more support. Sometimes we really want and need to work with somebody in a way that is very specific to us. My son actually does this. He works one-on-one with a baseball coach. He loves baseball. He is very into being on a team and getting coached on a team, but there's only so much that can happen in a group coaching program. Sometimes you need that individual one-on-one support. And that's where individual coaching or one-to-one coaching comes in. And in an individual coaching program, you are just working with your coach. You're meeting with your coach, you're meeting regularly, and your coach is helping you and guiding you in the process of meeting your goals. This is great when you are not self-motivated. Now, or where you just kind of need that more kind of personalized approach and that personalized support. So, for example, I work one-on-one with a strength training coach. I am not intrinsically motivated to strength train the way that I am motivated to ride my bike. I love riding my bike, and if there is an activity that I'm going to do and do voluntarily, it is always going to be riding. And if riding is too much for me, then I'll just throw on my sneakers and go for a walk or a hike. Those are my go-to movement strategies, and strength training is never going to be on that list. I work one-to-one with a coach. Her name's Natalie. She's fantastic. I work one-to-one in person with Natalie, and I meet with her once a week. She guides me through a series of exercises, and then she sets me up with a workout plan to complete at home for the rest of the week. That is what individual coaching looks like. And so when you're working one-on-one with a weight loss coach or a biking coach or a cycling coach, then you're working one-on-one to deal with your specific goals and to come up with a plan together with your coach in order to achieve those goals. So that brings me to this kind of question of, what are some of the signs that it might be the time to hire a coach? How do you know when working with a coach is going to be the logical next step? Well, the first sign is that you aren't getting the results that you want on your own or working in a group and in a group community. So for example, if someone signs up for a program like the Lose Weight Biking program and they watch the first couple of lessons and they're all in for the first couple of weeks, but then life gets in the way and they never go back to it. And then they're not really sure where to start. And starting over seems daunting. In that situation, one-on-one coaching makes so much sense. Or if you are in a situation where you're just kind of overwhelmed with all of the advice that you've been getting out there, you're overwhelmed with searching how to lose weight online and how to lose weight for active women and all of that, it's just getting to be too much. You know what you need to do, but you can't seem to follow the plan. So, for example, I have known forever that if I want to be strong, I have to strength train. But every time I think about strength training, about going online and finding a program or finding some YouTube videos so that I can have some exercises to do, I just give up. And this is coming from somebody who has a Peloton membership. In the Peloton membership, they have strength training programs. And there are these great Facebook groups out there, like Hardcore on the Floor is a phenomenal Facebook group that posts for free a calendar every month that tells you exactly what to do, what Peloton classes to take in order to achieve a strength training goal. And I just couldn't ever do any of it. I would start the Hardcore on the Floor program. I would do it for 2 or 3 days, and then I would give up and I would quit because I didn't have that one-on-one support. I didn't have the accountability. I wasn't self-motivated to strength train. It wasn't until I hired a strength training coach that I actually was able to regularly lift weights because I have some issues. Now, if you're anything like me and you have a goal, you may have some issues as well. Related to strength training, I have had some problems with my knees. I've had some problems with my back, and I wanted to work with someone one-on-one who knew in advance that I had those problems and developed a strength training program that was specifically related to me. Now, the same can be said with weight loss. If you're really hoping to lose weight riding your bike and you don't know where to start, and you're worried that you aren't going to be able to motivate yourself to watch lessons, and you really just want someone to work with you one-on-one to help you figure out what your goals should be, to help you figure out how to achieve those goals, to help you figure out how to plan your meals, how to plan your bike rides, that is when you want to work with an individual coach. That is when you are at a point where you are just kind of sick of doing it alone. You've tried a bunch of things and none of them seem to stick and nothing seems to work long term. You're just kind of overwhelmed and you know what to do. Like, I knew that I needed to lift weights. I know how to do a bicep curl. I know how to do a tricep extension. I've been doing those since high school. And yet I couldn't get myself down into the basement to do just those 2 exercises regularly at all. It was just a block for me. And that was how I knew that it was time to hire a coach. I needed a plan that was tailored to me and my body, and I needed that one-to-one interaction and accountability in order to stick with my goals. So that is just part of what makes one-to-one coaching so helpful and useful and empowering. What also makes it powerful is that you have this plan that's made just for you, based on your lifestyle, based on your goals. Have you ever, seen a food plan out there or a meal plan out there that says, eat like this stuff for 7 days and you'll lose weight? And you look at the meal plan and it is full of a bunch of things that you hate, that you won't eat. I feel like these meal plans always have fish or seafood on them, and I don't eat anything that comes out of the water. And so for me, those sorts of plans are, no pun intended, dead in the water because I know that they're never going to work for me because it's full of junk that I don't want to eat. Okay, so seafood and fish probably aren't junk to many of you, but in my universe, they are junk. They are no good. I don't want them. I'm not going to eat them. So another thing that makes one-to-one coaching so powerful is that you don't have to kind of do a bunch of second guessing. You are trusting that someone who has been through this before is going to help guide you. And that's going to be really useful and really helpful. Additionally, you're going to get that accountability. You're going to kind of have that person out there that is assisting you, that is helping you, that is going to check in with you and say, hey, where are you at with this? What's working? What's not? How can we move forward? Because a lot of times when we are either in a group program or when we're trying to do something on our own, there's no one that's actively checking in with us. There's no one that's saying, hey, how's this going? What can I help you with? What are you struggling with right now? Sometimes we need to have that coach that is going to be meeting with us regularly, that we know is going to be asking us those questions, that is going to be helping us stay on track. When it comes to weight loss, when it comes to our bodies and our relationship with food, another thing that kind of makes this one-to-one coaching so powerful is that these are personal situations that we aren't always necessarily super comfortable discussing in a group, where we really kind of feel like we want to have that individual private conversation that's not only catered to our own body and our own needs, but you also kind of have that interaction that is private. So it's not like, you have to put your like deep-seated concerns out there to a group. Now, I'm the sort of person for the most part who is like bare and all. I'm like, here it is, here I am. Just take what you want, leave what you want. I'll go up to just about anybody and talk about just about anything. But it took me a really long time to get to that comfort level, especially when it came to the topic of weight loss. So a coach who can kind of work with you individually, privately, and kind of maintain that privacy can be really useful and helpful in that sense too. So how do you decide? How do you figure out, who is going to be the right coach for you? How do you actually choose someone? That in and of itself can be really daunting. I know that if I had to kind of go out there and discover a coach, that it might have been a little bit too much for me. I was really lucky and really fortunate that my husband was already working one-to-one with a coach at a gym and referred me to the gym. And I checked out their website, and the person that I saw on the website that I knew I wanted to work with, Natalie, just happened to be the one who picked up the phone when I called. I was so thrilled. I was like, oh yes, that is who I wanted to work with. So I got really lucky in that particular sense, but I know that, finding someone one-to-one is and can be a little bit daunting. So here are my tips for you if you've decided you want to work with a coach, either for strength training or weight loss or cycling or whatever it is that you need help with. You want to make sure that you like that person's style. So start by having a conversation with them. Reach out and say, hey, I'm interested in one-on-one coaching. I was wondering, what your style is like. Sometimes you can get really lucky. Like, for example, if you're interested in working with me, we have the Biking Wellness podcast. So you get a sense of who I am and what my style is like. And you can kind of develop that sense of, oh yeah, this is the kind of person I want to work with. Or, oh no, this person isn't going to work for me, just by listening to their podcast or reading articles that they've written and getting a sense of what it is that's out there. So in that sense, it can be helpful and useful, and you kind of feel like you already know somebody because you've listened to them, you've kind of welcomed them into your world, like you're welcoming me into your world right now. So that can be really helpful. But if you don't have that, just having a conversation will give you so much information. I have one friend at work who says, if I work with a personal trainer, they need to be a drill sergeant. That is the style of personal trainer I like. And I listened to that and I was like, oh, hell no. That does not work for me. I need somebody who's going to be gentle and take a gentle approach, but also be firm and also kind of move me forward and say, I know you can do one more. I know you have this in you. And I have a great rapport with my strength training coach, and that's the kind of a relationship that I want to have. But when you get a sense of someone's style and what they're going to be doing for you, then that can be really useful and really helpful. Listen to their podcast, get on their email list, read their emails, see kind of how they show up and how they address their community if you can. That's going to give you a lot of information. So the whole idea behind coaching is that your coach is going to be a guide. They're going to help you and kind of remove the guesswork. They aren't necessarily going to, do everything for you. You don't want that. You want someone who's going to work with you to help you develop a plan that is actually catered towards your needs, which is exactly what I do. And I do this in the Lose Weight Biking program, but I do it and can do it in even more depth when I am coaching one-to-one. So if you're listening again in July of 2025, when this podcast goes live, I am offering a limited number of one-to-one coaching spots. I've only really done this on a small scale on an individual basis when people have asked in the past. But this summer, I really want to broaden the number of people that I work with one-on-one, because I really think it is the best way to get results that are specific to you and get help and coaching that is specific to you. So I'm opening up just 10 spots for the summer. Some of them are actually already accounted for at the time that I'm recording this podcast. But if you are interested, even if you're just curious about what it might be like to work with me, please do send me an email at Stacy, STACY, at Sassy, SASCY.com, or DM me at Sassy Cycling, SASCY Cycling, and just say you're interested. And I will put you on the wait list. I will forward you information. Obviously, no pressure, no commitment. Working with a coach and hiring a coach, it isn't about feeling like, oh my gosh, there's no way I can do this on my own. I need somebody else to do it for me. No, it's about getting personalized guidance that brings you closer to your goals. It's about investing both time and money in yourself and saying, you know what? I'm ready. I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to move forward. I'm not going to stay stuck. I'm not going to keep spinning my wheels. Even though I know some of what I need to do, I'm not doing it. And I want to make a change, and I'm ready to get that help and that guidance, because you really don't have to do things alone. I lost 50 pounds by myself. I was too scared to even tell anybody my goal was to lose 50 pounds. That's how private my weight loss journey was until it was all over. And I am going to be really honest, I made it really hard on myself. And even though I knew what to do, or thought I knew what to do, even though I knew I had to be mindful of the food that I was eating, I knew that my overeating and my emotional eating was a problem. I knew that I should be eating more vegetables. I knew kind of what I should be doing. I hadn't done it in the past, and I didn't have the confidence, and I just was kind of throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what was working and testing and finding out. Now, testing and finding out is exactly what you need to do in order to lose weight for the last time, but you don't have to do it by yourself. And when you have a coach, when you have someone like me in your corner helping you, then you don't spin your wheels nearly as much. You have that guidance and you have that help in putting together a plan for your meals, putting together a plan for your movement, figuring out what is one small thing that you can do today just to make today a little bit better than yesterday, to start building that momentum to bring you closer to meeting your goals. That is what it's all about. You just have to decide that you're worth it. You just have to decide it's the time to do it. And you just need that support and that encouragement to not give up, to understand that what you're going through is completely normal and that the problems that you're facing are completely solvable. So that is what I want you to think about when you're thinking about whether or not that this is the time to hire a coach. Is it the time for you to really kind of invest in yourself? And if you're thinking yes, maybe it is that time and you're interested in either working with me one-on-one or you're perhaps interested in the Lose Weight Biking program, please just send me an email, stacy@sassy.com, DM me at Sassy Cycling, and let me know you're interested. And I can help you figure out which path and which way to move forward is right for you. And maybe for now, it's just to continue being in this free community and listening to this podcast and learning as much as you can about wellness and about biking and about believing in yourself and focusing on what your body can do. So until next time, my friends, ride on. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode of the Biking Wellness Podcast. Be sure to head on over to sassy.com/guide, sasscy.com/guide, to get my completely free Lose Weight Biking Quick Start Guide so that you can get started with simple, doable weight loss today. That's sasscy.com/guide.